I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Grandpa joins us. Hi, Grandpa.
Hello.
I appreciate you coming on. And for everybody out there, please introduce yourself.
My name is Samuel Higgins. I'm also known as the Eldritch Grandpa. I'm a variety streamer, voice actor, artist, and video editor.
Wow. So there's a lot in that package right there.
Yeah, I do quite a bit.
Well, I tell you, and being the old radio guy, I'm instantly jealous of anybody who is a voice actor because you get to use your voice for fun things.
I only recently got into it within the last year, but it has definitely been a wild journey.
Well, I bet. Now, tell me, what is your connection to the Fallout series?
I'm actually a Fallout mod voice actor.
Which one?
I have voiced in several of the encounters in the Mojave. The biggest one that I'm known for is America Rising 2. I play the female Enclave soldiers and one specific ghoul.
Okay, that's cool. I really enjoyed the New Vegas a little while ago when I finally got a computer that would run it. So I've been through that back and forth, so I do appreciate everybody who was a part of that. And again, I'm extremely jealous that you're able to do that. Why did you get started on that, and how?
So it was because of my community, because I am known as a roleplay streamer.
Right.
I actually play a lot of different characters on my stream besides just the grandpa character, and I do voices. I started doing voices playing D&D a long time ago, and my community's like, you should do something with it. So one of my favorite voice actors is Wes Johnson, the voice behind Shugarath. He is also Hermaeus Mora in the Elder Scrolls Online series. He also plays the Super Mutants and all kinds of background characters in the Elder Scrolls and Fallout series. He does voice acting classes.
Oh.
So I decided to take one of those classes. A good friend of mine, Basil, actually paid for my class, and he's actually become my, like, quote unquote, a voice acting manager, Basil Rathbot.
That's cool.
And so Wes Johnson gave us the websites and tools that we needed to, like, dive into it. And I just, the day after the first class, I went to those websites and I started auditioning, and on that same day I got one of my first roles, and then I've been addicted to it ever since. So
that's excellent. That's wonderful. Well, you've got a very good voice for it, just from me talking to you right now. That's really obvious. And to be able to voice characters and keep the same voice for them is something that I couldn't ever do. I used to be able to do an impression and then once and then never find the voice again for the rest of my life. Is that something you've been able to do from a young age?
Yeah, like I've been able to remember the voices that I've used for, like, different characters and stuff like that. The only problem that I have when it comes to, like, voice acting and stuff like that is, like, it's really hard to get the roles that I actually want. Being transgender female to male. Of course I want to play the masculine male characters, but I have a very feminine voice. So that's one of the struggles that I have found.
Dude, I've worked with some folks in the radio business who were transgender the other way, and their voices from the treatments and everything they've been through are very highly sought after in radio because of the difference in timbre, and they're used a lot for commercials and that sort of thing. Do you think it's tougher going from the transition that you're making?
Well, I'm kind of a unique case. Because of my health conditions, I can't be put on, like, testosterone or HRT and stuff like that. Right. So the possibility of gaining that deeper voice is kind of, like, out of my range,
Mm-hmm.
but there are like voice lessons that you can take to like deepen your voice and things like that.
Right.
But because I have such a higher tempo, it's very hard to do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's harder for other people, but because of my specific case, I think it's a little bit harder for me to do exactly what I want.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, don't lose heart because the voice is still great. Otherwise, people wouldn't be bringing you in for it. There's that's one thing that the internet has really helped is that people who are at home and maybe normally wouldn't have their voices or talents out there can do these sort of things, can do a little voice acting from home or what they're doing now in radio, in recording your entire air shift from home and mailing it out. Uh, we didn't have this technology 20 years ago. Uh, 20 years ago, no one would have been able to do this.
Yeah, I mean the internet has definitely made some amazing changes for the world and stuff like that because I'm disabled. I don't
Hmm.
get out a lot. I don't travel too much. So like being able to do this from home is like a godsend.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you and folks are able to do this because we get to hear because we as those of us sitting out here who aren't doing anything, we we get to enjoy your talents and I'm really thankful for that. So thank you for that. As a matter of fact, uh,
Well, thank you. Also, I apologize. My cat is being very needy right now.
that's okay. I've got 8 of them.
You have 8 cats?
Yeah, we've got 8 cats. We've got a pair of twins that we had to start with, a boy and girl, and then someone took a bunch of strays and spayed and neutered them and let them go outside, and they all came to our door.
Oh,
So now we have 8.
I have 3 special needs babies.
Mm. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. You don't do anything easy, do you?
No, I really don't.
So when did you get started on VTubing?
I've been in the VTuber sphere for about 4 years now.
Oh, you're a veteran of the wars.
Oh gosh, yes.
Mm. So why'd you get started?
Um, for 2 reasons. One of them was pure spite because somebody was like, "Oh, you'd never make it as an old man on the internet. People only want hot anime guys and girls and stuff like that." And I was just like, "Hold my beer and watch me."
Yeah,
And
and
the second reason is because I've been doing content creation since 2010,
mm-hmm,
and I tried doing the whole webcam streamer thing, and I loved it, but it just wasn't for me.
yeah,
People on the internet are creepy.
right, yeah, yeah,
So being able to have an avatar in place of my actual self has definitely given me a lot more confidence when it comes to like streaming, and it's definitely worked out for me.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, obviously it has. I mean, it really kind of is right in your wheelhouse, isn't it? The whole VTubing streaming type of thing.
yeah, it's definitely grown
Mm-hmm.
since I started.
Well,
And it just allows people to express themselves in different ways and to see themselves in different lights. And it just builds a certain type of confidence,
mm.
be it good or bad, because we definitely have seen the bad side of that.
one
Um,
one thing a microphone doesn't do is limit the size of your head.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
That's in every business that has a microphone. Makes it tough to wear headsets sometimes.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Also the headset indent that happens if you wear headsets for too long.
Hmm. Yes.
That was a fun thing to discover.
Oh yeah. That's like, wait, what? When did that happen? Why can I
Yeah.
balance a glass there that I couldn't do that before? The radio folks who do it for a long time ended up with tinnitus because they would have everything way too loud in their headsets for years and years and years. and then have trouble with their hearing later. I was glad that I was lucky enough to be all those years in radio and not like what was going on, so I had the headsets down.
I mean, I already had it before I started
Oh,
all the content creation, so
mm. So you had overcome that to be able to be on the internet in the first place.
there's a lot that I had to overcome to be on the internet, to tell
Mm.
you the truth.
You, wow. I mean, being able to do that and being able to be successful as you are, um, that's pretty amazing, really.
I definitely appreciate that. It has been a long, grueling journey for sure. It's had its ups and its downs, but I honestly, at the end of the day, love what I do.
Wow. Well, you wouldn't keep doing it if you didn't. And for it sounds to me, and I don't know everything that's happened to you, but it sounds like you've had a few chances to for someone to come up to you and say, okay, you can quit now, and you haven't.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Well,
I refuse to quit
mm,
because like I have lived a very interesting life, a lot of it not being so great, and every time that I have picked something up, after a while, I quit.
mm,
I end up self-sabotaging and I'm just like, I'm done. This is it. Goodbye.
yeah.
And this is the one thing in my life that I have stuck with for this long.
Mm. That's good because I think we're all reaping the benefits of that, and not just you, but people who are tuned in and watching too. With the VTubing you're doing now, have you gotten a pretty good base going as far as chat members?
Oh yeah.
Mm. The folks who are coming in each time, or are you having?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's good news. Were you able to get that right away, or how long did it take you?
I was able to get that right away
Mm,
just because I already had a presence.
mm,
Before I started VTubing, I was known as Artsy Grandpa. I did a lot of art
mm-hmm,
and boosted a lot of artists and things like that for a good half of a year to a year, I think.
mm-hmm.
And then I was introduced to VTubing and I decided, let's take this grandpa thing a little bit farther.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed actually because I actually am a grandpa.
Oh,
I don't, so I enjoy the fact that somebody's out there at least giving us a presence one way or the other on the net. I mean, we are the generation that played Pong. Dang it, we were the
yeah,
original.
no, the whole grandpa concept and stuff like that is I wanted to create a welcoming presence,
Mhm.
but I also understand like there's a lot of mom VTubers and dad VTubers and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And I there is a stigma behind the word comfy when it comes to the streaming community,
yeah,
the VTuber community, because a lot of people who call themselves comfy end up to be just not great people.
yeah, yeah,
I
and
wanted to create a space to where like I could be just this person that people could feel a certain type of comfort with, but also understand at the end of the day, I'm
mm.
going to fill you full of sugar and then send you back to your parents.
You got the grandpa thing right down.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we do. Yeah, you're my favorite grandpa. Here's another candy bar, kid. That's the way we
Now
do
go
it.
back to your parents.
Well, and tell them hi for me. But the you were able to keep this going. Obviously, how much of yourself is in the grandpa online?
Oh my God, too much.
Mm,
Like, I had originally wanted to be a roleplay streamer when it came to Grandpa, and I tried it for several streams, and I realized very quickly this is not genuine. This
hmm
is not real.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to sit here and give myself the title of a grandpa to other VTubers and content creators. I kind of have to be real.
hmm
So that mask of trying to pretend to be this character kind of fell off very quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm just me. I'm an open book. I talk about everything, including my struggles, mental health, and things like that. You go to my Twitter, and it's basically just my entire life.
I'm hooked up with that Twitter now. and yeah, it is very interesting. But
So I am chaos, in all honesty.
but here you've got a situation where someone such as yourself has been through an awful lot, more than anybody probably should ever, and has emerged the way you're doing right now. It's something I've told people before, and it sounds kind of mystical nonsense type of thing, but I always think that people aren't necessarily the product of their surroundings, but they're the triumph that emerges from the surroundings. Sounds to me like you're one of them triumphs.
I definitely, oh, my voice cracked.
What?
I definitely believe that, because let me tell you, whenever I first got into the VTuber community and things like that, I was not a great person.
Hmm.
I had gotten out of a very serious situation.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the time undiagnosed autistic and things like that. So
Yeah.
I was very toxic. I trauma dumped on everyone because I was like, oh well, if they feel sorry for me, they'll want to be my friend.
Mm-hmm.
I obsessed over people because like I have ADHD, um, autism, I'm bipolar, and I have
Mm-hmm.
PTSD.
Yeah.
So
You've got a bingo,
my
is what you're
hyper,
saying.
yeah, I got a freaking bingo card when it comes to issues,
Uh,
but my hyperfixation was people.
mm-hmm.
So I was lucky enough to find friends and people who actually genuinely cared about me, who were like, hey, this is not how you socialize. Let us show you how you socialize. And because of that, it kind of snowballed into me realizing, the way that I was going about things is wrong. I need to be different. I need to change. And it has definitely helped me develop into the person that I am. I would not be here if it wasn't for the people who came into my life when they did.
Oh, that's perfect. That's what. Now I'm gonna try not to get on the soapbox, but that's what human beings are supposed to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Try to help people, and in your case, it basically changed your life around. I imagine, in many ways. And if you hadn't done that, where would you be now?
Probably canceled, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it has definitely taught me that I need to be more open of a person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very open with people. People all, come to me for advice and stuff like that. And the one thing that I always tell people is, listen, I am not a therapist. I do not have a degree in that.
Mm-hmm.
If you seriously need help, the one thing that you need to do is find a professional to talk to.
Yes. Yes. And I don't care what age you are. You know, even us grandpas need that every once in a while. So there absolutely 100% agree with you on that. Now on your streams themselves right now, what are you playing?
Oh God, what am I planning for streams? I never know what I'm doing. I don't have a schedule.
Yeah.
I literally have an idea and then I do it.
It's chaos all over the place.
Oh yeah. I'm very weird when it comes to like streaming and setting schedules. Schedules make me anxious.
Yeah.
It's like I have this set thing that I said that I'm going to do, and now I don't want to do it. And now I'm making myself sick because I'm now hyper fixating on that I need to do this thing, and now I can't do anything to the days leading up because I
Yeah.
have to do this thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You're completely off your game because you scheduled this thing that you don't want to do, but you have to do because you scheduled it, and you absolutely have to do it because you schedule it, and it's just a big giant downward spiral.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I am not organized in the slightest.
yeah. Join us, join us in the non-organization. But it really seems like the internet and going on and doing this and the people that you've met going into it have been a gigantic plus for you and all the way around. Um, am I right?
Yeah,
Mm,
like I honestly, I don't know where I would be without the people who helped me when it comes to my streaming and in my real life.
mm-hmm.
I was not in a good place whenever I first started VTubing. Um, I suffer, like I said, from bipolar disorder
Right.
and depression and anxiety.
PTSD and
Yeah,
other things that can trigger in.
yeah, and I spent a lot of my younger years isolated
Mm-hmm.
and not having the social interactions I should have had. So I was very stunted when it came to communicating with people and being able to like verbalize my feelings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So meeting these people who helped me, in all honesty, to be a normal functioning adult, um, really changed my life for the better, both online and offline.
Well, I can tell you this: you're the only normal functioning adult that's on this particular stream. You got me beat. But
Well, I mean, so it's very weird because I basically did not have a childhood.
mhm.
When I was younger, I was raising my nephew.
Well,
So I was in charge of taking care of a child when I was still a child.
well, happens way too often,
So
unfortunately.
yeah, it does happen way too often. So in my adult years, I'm in my 30s now. I am just rediscovering that childhood that I never had.
Yeah.
And I have these friends who are basically doing the same. So we're just a group of goobers reliving our childhood and just having a good time. And in all honesties, I think it's so freaking important for content creators to have friends, to
Oh,
have genuine, not yes men friends.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And the yes men only go so far. Uh,
They really do.
and they'll yes you right off the cliff or right off the short pier if you keep that up. Um,
Yeah,
of course, you don't want all no men either. I mean,
yeah,
that's just
yeah, yeah.
irritating.
Toxic criticism is something that people need to understand as a thing.
Hmm.
Whenever somebody does nothing but criticize what you do, they're not trying to help you.
Mm, yeah, that's true. Now, here's a question I'm gonna throw your way, and you just yell at me if you don't want to do anything to do with it. And being someone who is trans, have you had problems with people on the internet as far as wanting to collaborate with you, wanting to uh, be become friends with you on the internet, or from chat in any way?
Okay, sorry, I don't think I'm understanding the question completely. So,
Okay,
like, because I'm transgender, like
right,
having issues with,
right, because you're transgender.
I mean, I've had problems with that being transgender and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But one of the biggest problems that I honestly have with that
Hmm.
is you're gonna laugh at
Mm.
this. I get a lot of people who like to send me dick pics.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to try not to laugh, but that's too.
No, it's okay. Like I find it funny too, and I actually have a funny story about it.
Uh-huh.
But for some reason, some people get it into their mind that like, oh, this person is transgender, they just haven't had the right dick yet.
Uh,
And it's just like that's not how that works. But I had this one person who sent me a dick pic, and I was feeling extra playful.
mm-hmm.
And this is the only time that I've done this, but I decided to troll them back.
Uh-huh.
And I asked them what was wrong with it. Why did it look like that? And they started to panic and be like, what do you mean? So I'm just like, I think you need to go to the doctor. And then they blocked me. A few months later, they unblocked me and messaged me back and said, hey, so I actually did go to the doctor. Come to find out something was actually wrong. So thanks for that.
See, trolling can be good for you.
I I had at one point, I don't know, somehow I ended up on some website. I'm not going to say the name of it because I don't want people looking it up because it's just horrid. A
Mm.
lot of horrible things were said about me.
Oh,
And there was a group of like 10 people who decided to raid one of my streams to try and be hateful.
right.
And I ended up, just talking to them, just like asking them basically, who hurt you? And I ended up making friends with 9 of them.
That's cool. Well,
So I have this weird innate ability to like draw people in who were originally just kind of hateful.
right.
It just kind of goes with the grandpa motif, I guess.
you you're gonna make a good grandpa. You've already got a lot of the
God, I hope so.
you've got all of the necessary things. You even know when to give the candy to the kids. Oh.
I have so many people who are like, when you go to cons, you should have a fanny pack full of candy to give out. And I'm just like, do you know how weird in this day and age that would be?
It would. It would be hilarious though.
Yeah.
You give out like clove gum or something.
What is that candy called? Werther's Originals?
Yes, Werther's. Yes.
I hate those things.
Well, it's not for you.
I,
It's for
my
the
my
kids.
my favorite old people candy is strawberry bonbons. Those
Oh,
strawberry candies that are in the strawberry wrapper that you get like on Halloween. It's like the candy you don't want to get because it's so cheap.
yeah,
Those are
yeah.
my favorite.
Really? Oh my
Yeah, they're
gosh.
good.
I don't even know what they're made out of. I'm sure they're not strawberries.
100% they're not strawberries.
At least you've managed to survive them.
Oh, it's always the worst whenever you're sucking on them and they get a hole in them and you accidentally like cut your tongue on them. That's like the worst.
Ow. That's terrible. Yeah, for me the candy that my grandparents always had. They didn't have candy. They had uh they had Chips Ahoy cookies. So I was like, okay, I'd raid their cookie jar every time I came over. Of course, I lived next to them, so that's one of the reasons why I was around a kid.
The one question that I always get when it comes to being, a grandpa streamer, that I always get asked if like my grandparents were like an inspiration for the character.
Mm-hmm.
N no. I did not have good grandparents. In fact, I had a set of adopted grandparents. They were a friend of mine's grandparents that basically took me in and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do I put this? They were a part of a religious cult that they ended up getting me involved in
Oh
whenever I
boy,
was younger. Oh yeah.
are you gonna write a book?
I've thought about it.
I mean, at this point, you should. I mean,
Some of the things that have happened in my life that I have told people, they have been like, what the absolute the hell?
well,
Like, oh,
well, I mean, it certainly would be a captivating read, although it might be a little tough on you to relive that. What happened? But the fact is, you've come through all of this stuff, and I hope that I'm reading this right, that you're happy right now.
Oh yeah. I could not be happier. I still do have my down days,
Mm-hmm.
but we all do.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the important thing. You're happy. You're helping people. You're entertaining people, and and you and let's face it, the world owes you a few.
God, it's like I always make the joke that the universe has been trying to take me out and I live just simply out of spite.
Yeah, yeah. It's one thing that grandpas definitely are stubborn.
That's true.
Get off my lawn. But it's absolute pleasure to talk with you, and I wish you nothing but the best the rest of the way because you definitely deserve it. We're gonna have the links for your stuff on the description for the interview, and let's do this again, okay?
I appreciate this. I've had a lot of fun and I absolutely love doing interviews and things like that. I love collabing. I'm very open to a lot of things.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.